Hey guys, Peace here, and I've had iOS 14 on my iPhone 11 for quite some time now, and I've noticed a lot of big features and small features that add up to this new and different iOS update. Let me explain. So, as soon as you get the update, you don't really see any features that scream iOS 14 just yet. But once you start customizing your iPhone and making it tailor-fit for your habits, you really understand how important a simple thing like a widget or being able to hide your apps really is. And this is the big deal about iOS 14. Customization and making your iPhone truly yours. Now while it may be sounding like this is the perfect update, that's not the case, but it's definitely a step in the right direction. So the new features in iOS 14 fall into three categories: big changes, small changes, and unusual changes. So let's start off with the big changes, such as widgets. Widgets serve two purposes. The first and most obvious one is showing you more information. With the widget, you should be able to see more information without actually having to open the app, and this is the case most of the time. For example, the weather app. You get tons of information without opening the app, such as the temperature, hourly, and daily forecast. The second feature about widgets is to take up space. Now while this may sound dumb, it's really not. This allows you to keep your apps at the bottom of the screen so you don't have to stretch your thumb to reach them. Smart Stacks is a cool sub-feature of widgets. It allows you to have multiple widgets in the same space. I personally don't use this feature right now because only the Apple app supports widgets. Now in the future more apps will use widgets, but as of right now in the beta version only Apple apps work. Another big change is with page setups. You can now choose how many pages and which pages will show up on your home screen. This is really useful because we all have those apps that we never really use but we don't want to delete. The apps that are hidden will show up in the app library, which basically categorizes them based on their categories. The way I have my iPhone set up is a 4x4 weather widget on the main screen. Below that I have the general Apple apps that I use the most. On the next screen I have a Smart Stack, which is sometimes useful, a battery widget, and a calendar widget. The apps that I have below that are the non-Apple apps that I use the most. Picture-in-picture is also a cool new feature. This is basically multitasking at its finest that you'll get on an iPhone. Now this feature doesn't work on all the apps like YouTube, but there is a way around for YouTube specifically. All you have to do is go to Safari and open up YouTube or whatever video you want to watch on YouTube. Then you make it full screen and then you can just swipe home and it'll play in picture-in-picture. This feature is also supported by FaceTime calls and some other third-party apps. Messages also get some new features. You can directly reply to messages with inline replies, you can assign group names and photos, or you can add some more variation to your memojis such as a mask. So that's pretty much it for the big features. Let's talk about the smaller features now. So some of the small features include compact UI. Now this is a small feature but a big deal. Siri and call notifications always took up way too much space of the screen. In fact, they took up all of the screen. So having them only take up a small portion at the top or bottom of the screen is a big deal. In iOS 14, you also get some privacy geared updates. First of all, the App Store has an app page layout, giving you more access to information about the developer and the app itself. It's supposed to tell you about the privacy information about the app, but I can't seem to find that, so I think it's not available in the betas yet. Another minor yet major thing in iOS 14 is being able to switch your default apps. You can now change your default web browser app and your default mail app. This is really cool for the people who don't like the native iOS web browser and mail app, or for the people who have like a Windows laptop. If you had a Windows laptop, then you can't really use Safari and Mail. You'd probably be using Outlook or Gmail. So being able to switch that on your iPhone is a really big deal. Some more include being able to search for an emoji or to go directly to an app with the Go button in search without having to click on the icon. Lastly, the Notes app finally gets rid of that grainy texture in the background. It's now replaced with a purely black screen or a purely white screen depending on if you're using light mode or dark mode. These two categories, the big changes and small changes, are a really big deal for iOS 14. They really enhance the user experience and make it a ton better than iOS 13. Now talking about the weird or unusual changes in iOS 14. There aren't that many, but they're really interesting. You've probably heard about the double tap or triple tap feature on the back of the iPhone. This allows you to carry out simple things by double or triple tapping the back of the phone. You can also trigger some more advanced actions to the Shortcuts app. In addition, you also get the option of having your iPhone listen to sounds such as a baby crying or the water running. Now, these two features are actually aimed for accessibility users, but you can still use them too. Another cool feature that I really like is having your iPhone tell you when it's using the camera or your microphone. When you use this feature, you'll get a colored dot at the top right of your screen. This is basically similar to the feature that displays a green light in macOS if an app is using your camera. The last thing I want to talk about is features that I don't really like about iOS 14. So now you can get more customization with widgets, but it's still not to the extent of Android. In Android, you could put a widget practically anywhere on the screen. On iOS, suppose if you have a 2x2 widget, you can only put it on the left or right side. You can't put it in the middle. I also don't like the small number of wallpapers available in iOS 14. Out of the small number of wallpapers, only a limited are actually good. And out of the ones that are good, most of them for light mode. So if you're a dark mode user like me, you're gonna have to download them from the web. And I think that should really be an option. Even if you're using dark mode, you should be allowed to use a light mode wallpaper or vice versa. The last thing are some minor bugs. Now, while these are bugs after all, because this is a beta version of iOS, I still think that Apple should pay attention to these and quickly fix them. The most major bug I've seen is that sometimes I can't log into my phone without having to restart it. This is the case when I'm trying to use Face ID, but it never purely authenticates my face. Also in the app library, the app doesn't really open from the icon how it should. Instead, it opens up from a weird place on the top right of the screen. This only happens with me if there's an app that's available in 2 categories in the app library. In addition, sometimes widgets don't completely load. For example, the weather widget. Whenever I turn on use my current location for weather, it never displays any information. It's just a blank screen. As I already said, this is a beta version, so you're gonna have bugs, but I'm not mad at Apple because I know they'll probably fix these. With iOS 14, you get a lot of more customization with widgets, the app library, and the page setup. But you also get the freedom to use different apps. You can finally change your default web browser and mail app, which is a big deal for many people. All these things combined prove a pretty exciting future for iOS updates. So that's it for this hands-on video of iOS 14. If you want to download this update, I'll put a link in the description to the Apple Developer Beta website. It's completely free and I think you should really go check it out. But before you do so, make sure to back up your phone because sometimes in rare cases you might lose your data. So that's pretty much it for this video. Make sure to like, share, and obviously subscribe. Also hit that notification bell so you know whenever I upload a new video. Also follow me on Instagram and Twitter at SweetTechPlanet. Thank you for watching and I'll catch you next time.